say I'm white because I'm constantly covered in ape jizz.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
I'm Chad McCanna. You know, you'd think we'd be ecstatic having just finished talking about Super Smash Bros. For Wii U for the last time ever.
That's just one less thing to talk about, Chad.
One less thing to talk about in our slow crawl to the grave.
I'm all right. Let me turn on a happy light here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these UV lights that like project like just piercing light and it's supposed to improve your mood during.
Well, it is statistically the most depressing week of the year for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere.
It is, and boy, do I feel it. We are right in the middle of the Winter Shitfucks, Chad.
Yes.
It's a concept we introduced longtime listeners to 2 years ago, and
2 years. Oh God, this is season 3, isn't it? Fucking hell.
It is. So, we kind of averted it last year, but we'll be talking about the Winter Shitfucks a little bit more.
Was it Tropical Freeze that kind of lifted our spirits and helped propel us through the Shitfucks last year? Was that really what it was?
They didn't exist last year because we had a new Donkey Kong Country game coming out in the Winter Shitfucks for the first time in history.
This time 1 year ago, it was going to be like 2.5 weeks until we were getting a new Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, and it was a pretty exciting time. You're moving to New York.
Yeah.
So I think things were
actually that was extraordinarily stressful for me.
Yeah.
Because I had to quit my job, get a new job across the country, like via Skype interviews, and then pack up everything, tell my boss who gave me my career that I'm quitting, thanks, I'm leaving, and then move, and then it was just and then I told our longtime listeners on the air about the fucking Airbnb situation when I arrived. This guy, Masood, I was living in his basement for 2 weeks.
Masood, one of the most beloved Kongversation characters.
Yeah, it's him, Dude Illigence, and whatever the hell Jeff is supposed to be. Anyway, that whole thing was a nightmare.
Jeff is somebody who lands us in hot water with Nintendo's PR department for wishing their president would suffer a dissected aorta.
Yeah. Both the Nintendo press department and the estate of John Ritter. We're in hot water with both of them.
That's his shtick. A comedian doesn't rip off another comedian's bit.
Yeah, so his is having a dissected aorta. That's John Ritter's thing. Ugh.
Yeah. Amy Yazbek was not happy with us.
I'm gonna need a little help on that reference.
John Ritter's wife.
Oh, how the hell? Why would you know that? Why would you know John Ritter's wife's name? Amy Yazbek.
Amy Yazbek. She was the redhead in the later seasons of Wings.
Okay, I just never watched Wings.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it waiting for Paul McCartney to show up, and it was just a constant disappointment. On the plus side, Tony Shalhoub doesn't mean yesterday. So.
Yeah, well, I really liked that season they did in Africa. It was strange, along the lines of let's go to Disneyland, but they also had to pare down the cast to 3 members. It's very weird.
Oh, we're already spinning our wheels.
Yeah. See, I don't know fucking dick about Wings, but I can riff on Paul McCartney all you want.
That's right. Well, Tony Shalhoub was in Wings. That should be all you need to know. Thomas Hayden Church, come on. It was kind of a nebulous Cheers spinoff. It existed in the Cheers universe, but
did it? I didn't realize. Was it part of the whole NBC lineup?
Well, it was made by some of the writers from Cheers who would later go on to create Frasier. Yeah. So Frasier and Lilith appeared. Norm and Cliff appeared. Rebecca Howe appeared. So it existed in the same universe, but it was kind of like the Saberman to Cheers Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, now let me ask you about another sitcom from that era that I never really followed, Coach. Was Coach related to this milieu at all?
Coach was on ABC. I don't know how I knew that in that I never watched Coach, but Coach was on ABC, so it's not connected to the Cheers universe, which was the property of NBC.
Of course.
Yeah. So
okay. So if anything, not claiming that it happened, but in the potential Tommy Westfall universe,
I hate the concept of that, by the way, because I feel like it's clever, but it also, I think, it betrays what should be the rules of a shared universe in what fathers what, and a mere crossover, it does not necessarily suggest a greater connection beyond the events of that one episode.
Okay, well, that surprises me, because... Okay, well, first off...
Well, no, look at our DKU rules.
Well, hang on. First, let's tell the listeners what the Tommy Westphall universe is.
Oh, I just like assuming that they know exactly what Chad and Hyle know.
Yes, this is all of our listeners. It's a prerequisite to hit play in iTunes unless you know the intricacies of TV nerd obsession. So anyway, Hyle, what is the Tommy Westphall universe?
All right. Well, in the 80s, there was a TV show before ER, before Grey's Anatomy. There was a show called Saint Elsewhere. It was about a hospital that was a kind of in a lower income area of the city. So when you couldn't, like, I think the concept was if you couldn't afford to go to the nicer hospitals, you went to this hospital that was nicknamed Saint Elsewhere because it was like the other one.
Okay.
So they didn't have the funding or whatever. Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World and Knight Rider.
Wow.
He was one of the doctors on it. Denzel Washington got a start on the show. It was a really popular show. It's kind of been forgotten about since the 90s. I mean, it had a huge cultural impact at the time, but you never really hear people talk about it except on the internet for this one situation because people reference the ending of the show. Now, we on DK Vine, we have made numerous references to the ending of Newhart, which was Bob Newhart's second sitcom, where the final episode revealed that the entire events, I think it was 8 years of Newhart, were just the dream of his character from his first sitcom,
The Bob Newhart Show.
The Bob Newhart Show, where he was an innkeeper in Vermont in Newhart. In the Bob Newhart Show, his first one, he was a psychiatrist in Chicago.
So he at the last scene of Newhart, he wakes up in his bed with his wife from the Bob Newhart Show, which ended its run, some decade earlier, and basically, made allusions to all these insane events that happened at the end of Newhart.
Right, because Newhart is a show that gradually ramped up its insanity, like most sitcoms do. Things got a little sillier and broader and looser, but it actually explained it all away at the end, as that was just the dream state getting crazier and unhinged as he was getting closer to the climax of the dream.
Yeah.
So it was really clever, really well done. It was a groundbreaking concept for the time, but it was also a riff, I think, on the Saint Elsewhere ending, because the Saint Elsewhere ending also revealed that the entire events of the show Saint Elsewhere were a fantasy. It was actually, this time, it was the fantasy of, in the mind of an autistic boy on the show, the son of one of the doctors, named Tommy Westphall.
Right. And wasn't it actually... It was something that Tommy envisioned inside a snow globe.
Yeah, there's a snow globe of the hospital Saint Elsewhere, and so he imagined that his dad, who was this kind of poor lower middle class, I think, construction worker or something, he was actually a doctor in the Saint Elsewhere. So it kind of had a classist message, but it was the 80s, so that's to be expected.
Right.
So
because class struggles don't exist today.
No, but the whole thing of you're not a success if you don't make money. The Cosby Show kind of message, where you got to make money and or else I'm going to disown you.
Well, hang on a second. We're talking 80s here. For every Cosby Show, there was a Roseanne.
That was the 90s.
Roseanne was not the 90s.
Roseanne was the quintessential sitcom of the early to mid 90s, to the late 90s, actually.
Hang on. When did Roseanne start?
Look on Wikipedia, dude. Look on Wikipedia.
Well, 1988 to 1997. Are you shitting me? That show was on when I was in junior high? Wow.
Yeah,
88.
Yeah, 88, but that's tail end of the 80s. It's not...
Well, also Married with Children. Also kind of a late 80s, early 90s kind of show.
Yeah, but Married with Children definitely had the attitude of the 90s. I don't think...
It had the attitude of the Fox network that sort of imprinted itself onto the decade.
Yeah, I know, but it was...
And MTV.
It was the epitome of trash TV.
Yes, but I'm saying it wasn't they weren't the Huxtables.
No, they were a reaction to the Huxtables, to the 80s. It was, okay, you know what, you're going to have this well-off upper middle class family living in a brownstone in New York. Okay, we're going to have this lower middle class kind of trashy family that more accurately reflects what America is, and we're going to spit in the face of that.
When was Sanford and Son on?
That was the 70s.
Well, I know it started in the 70s, but oh my God, it was the whole 70s, 72 to 77. Okay, because that was okay. So it's like it seems like the decades sort of flip back and forth whether or not people want to see pobres on the TV.
Well, yeah, it was kind of the rise of the Reagan movement, conservatism, trickle down economics.
This is like 70s poor, 80s rich, 90s blue collar poor.
It was basically the hippies of the 60s selling out their ideals and becoming, upwardly mobile. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that stuff was in vogue in Saint Elsewhere, being a product of the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it back.
That's right. Although Saint Elsewhere, I think, had a good message. I don't know. I've never seen a single episode, but I'm just trying to explain the Tommy Westfall. I'm trying to.
Everyone on Saint Elsewhere probably made rape jokes the entire episode, and now you're saying it had a good message.
I'm just stepping in it, aren't I?
Yeah.
No, you're come on. I can make a Cosby joke, but I think that's getting kind of played out. So
right.
Yeah. Anyway. So. I know. I'm sure. I think Saint Elsewhere did have a good message, but I was just trying to kind of read greater socio-economical message in Tommy Westfall, the autistic boy who has visions and snow globes.
Right.
Anyway,
so he invented the entirety of the show, and it pans out to see that his father is not a doctor, but actually just this blue-collar guy with an autistic kid.
And speaking of Roseanne did the same thing at the end of its run. It turns out that most of Roseanne, after, I think, starting in the second season, she gets this writing room, and starting at that point in the series, that's just Roseanne's fantasy. She's writing down her life, but twisting around the details to make them happier.
Oh, wow. Is that why they got rid of the first Becky?
No. Actually, the first Becky came back after a while, and then she was replaced again by Sarah Chalk. It was really weird. But anyway, but basically, wow, we are going on a tangent. Yeah, it's
the Winter Shitfucks, man. It's a celebration.
It's the Winter Shitfucks. You got to do something. You got to fill airtime. It's in Roseanne, like Darlene and Becky. They married the guy from Big Bang Theory and some other guy.
Oh yeah.
But
Johnny Galecki.
But in the final episode, Roseanne reveals that's not what really happened. They actually married the other spouse. Like the kids married the
alternates,
alternate.
Like their counterparts,
who Roseanne didn't feel was as right for them. And then Dan died from a heart attack at some point, and Roseanne had him survive in her fantasy, and they got rich, and it was really like hated. People hated the ending of Roseanne.
Yeah, that sounds awful. But anyway, so Saint Elsewhere, I think that, while it was a twist ending, and that's not necessarily...
Oh, and we can't forget about Lost, where they're dead the whole time, right?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened in that show.
There's no other way to read what happened. Even if they implicitly told you that's not what happened in the context of the show.
No, but that's what happened. I mean, did you watch it? I watched it, and I saw that's what happened.
No, I watched, and I was like, I don't understand this. They must be dead. I'm going to go to the internet to complain about it. I hate Lost.
Yeah, I hate Lost so much that I'm not even going to put in the effort to try and understand it.
Seriously, if you want to know how big dorks Chad and I are, we literally spent the whole next day after the finale of Lost texting each other, figuring out more and more continuity. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. And okay, let's not get into Lost, because we could do a whole series of podcasts about our feelings about Lost. But I need to rewatch that at some point. I need to rewatch that and Battlestar. It's been a while.
I'm rewatching Lost with Michelle right now.
Oh, how far are you?
We're Boone just died. Spoilers.
Spoilers, dude.
Spoilers.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. What's the statute of limitations on spoilers?
I don't know. It's been over a decade. Okay.
Yeah, well, Boone's almost been dead for a decade. It doesn't matter.
That's right. Well, it is unfortunate that you spoiled that, since it happens in like the final season of the show. I mean, Boone is like my favorite season 4 character.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's the Chinese guy, right?
Yep. Saved it.
The psychic Chinese guy who talks to dead people.
Oh, Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, which other Chinese guy was? Yeah. That one, the one on the freighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just watching Saving Private Ryan, and Daniel Faraday's in that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea Jeremy Davies was in that movie. I knew him from the remake of Solaris, which I think doesn't get as much credit as it deserves because Cliff Martinez's soundtrack is fucking superb, and the movie itself, it's not Tardiovsky, but I think it does a pretty serviceable job.
I didn't even know they made a remake of Solaris.
The George Clooney one.
Oh, okay.
You never okay, so you knew about the Russian one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they who was it that Steven Soderbergh.
Okay. I must have missed that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it came out in 2002. Yeah, I completely missed. I guess I was still reeling from 9/11.
It's actually that's why critics hated it. And Mariah Carey's Glitter, which came out like the week after 9/11.
Oh, is it weird that I actually still remember Glitter?
Yeah. There was a year where I, like, all my circle of friends, I just bought like 20.
I remember.
You remember? Did you get a copy of Glitter?
I can't recall.
I think it might have been my IRL people.
Yeah, no, but you gave Ozzy Ben a copy of Glitter.
Yeah, yeah, I did. So yeah, everyone got a copy of Glitter for that entire calendar year for their birthday.
You know what awful gift you gave me that I still have?
Mm-hmm.
A whole case of W ketchup from 2004.
The George W. Bush ketchup?
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
In 2004, John Kerry was running against George W. Bush, and he was married to Teresa Heinz Kerry.
Right.
So people automatically assumed that people on the right, were like, oh, well, Heinz is a leftist ketchup. We cannot possibly have Heinz on our dinner table anymore because it's in league with that French-loving, windsurfing John Kerry. So they invented their own right-wing ketchup called W ketchup. Where it was more than just the ketchup that was red, and it I've never opened it, but I still have a whole case of it. It's probably rancid at this point, but yeah,
it's fermented. You can now get drunk off of it.
Sometime we're gonna have to do a video for YouTube when we get together in IRL and in real life. I know I just botched that, but when we get together in real life,
you did like an ATM machine thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Pin number. I'll type my PIN number in the ATM machine.
Anyway, so we'll have to
in real life.
I got you. Yeah. I owned it. I owned my mistake. We'll get together. We'll sit around the dinner table with a bottle of W ketchup, and we'll just eat it and see how far we can get.
Yeah, that sounds horrific.
It's either that or we could use that semen cookbook I gave you.
Oh, jeez. I don't still have that. You think I brought that to New York?
So I just admit that I keep all of your crappy gifts because I'm sentimental. I cherish what we have as friends. And yet you give them away like not even a year after I give them to you.
Okay, I have damn near everything you've ever given me. The semen cookbook, I draw a line because that thing, I've already discussed how looking at it makes me physically ill. Not because of the jellied treat on the cover that is almost assuredly made with semen, but the fact that the book is colored this milky off yellow. It's it's the color of congealed like cum. It's disgusting, and it makes me want to puke when I'm looking at a cookbook cover.
Well, that's why you have to add a little lemon to it because
Jesus.
Anyway, yeah. So
that citric acid really brings out the spunk.
You know, I actually sent that book also to Matt Corna, but it apparently got lost in across the ocean because he never received it. And
oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I feel really bummed about that. So somewhere there's some sailors sailing the Atlantic with maybe those pirates, the Somalian pirates.
Yeah, well, it's a good source of protein. It won't help fight scurvy, but
that's why you add the lemon to it.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, so
see, you truly can have your cum and eat it too.
So anyway, Tommy Westfall. The problem with Saint Elsewhere was that it.
Wait, why was I talking about Mariah Carey?
Glitter.
Yeah, but how did we get to that?
Solaris.
Solaris, yeah. So I watched Solaris. Oh, Jeremy Davies, Lost. He was in Solaris as well, and Lost was a twist ending.
This is the worst version of We Didn't Start the Fire that I've
ever. Jeremy Davies, Solaris, Lost. Yeah, that sounds terrible.
You can really tell when Billy Joel really ramped up the drinking. Anyway, so Tommy Westfall, he okay.
So the fact that everything was in a snow globe, it's a twist ending. A lot of shows have them.
I mean, it would have been fine, but the thing with St. Elsewhere was that it crossed over into numerous shows.
Right, and there are a few, a la the DKU, where we at Diddy Kong Racing, since Diddy, Banjo, and Conker are all in that game, Conker and Banjo being introduced in that game, we sort of follow them branching outward. But the thing about the Tommy Westfall universe is that the way that group of people or whatever that community has decided to organize it or set the rules is that any branding crossover or character or basically any mention of the internal reality of another universe makes it a part of Tommy Westfall, which means that all of these shows, like encompassing a huge chunk of quality TV history, actually take place within a snow globe.
That's right, because the thing is, it creates this just never-ending branch where you've got, and this is all set up kind of like the way we associate the Cameo games. So it's crossing over rather than spawning its own series. St. Elsewhere never had a spin-off, as far as I'm aware. But you've got, so St. Elsewhere crossed over with Cheers, for example. Mm-hmm. So then, therefore, Cheers takes place in that snow globe. Therefore, Frasier and Wings takes place in that snow globe.
Right.
Frasier crossed over with the John Larroquette show. Remember that?
Of course. How could I not?
So
John Larroquette.
John Larroquette in that snow globe. Which I've long looked at Christmas time for a snow globe with John Larroquette inside, and to no avail.
One day you'll find it.
But apparently you can just keep going like that. You can look at all the other shows it crossed over with, who then either spawned their own shows or crossed over with other shows, and it just becomes massive, to the point the theory of the Tommy Westfall universe is that every TV show is somehow connected to Tommy Westfall and St. Elsewhere.
But they do their diligence and they stick within their rules. So that's why I was kind of confused that you don't approve of the way Tommy Westfall.
It's not that I don't approve. A lot of people then take that's the only way you can view television continuity or fictional continuity, whereas we have a very it's actually a much more conservative take on it. It's that it has to be born from the loins.
Well, otherwise we'd be fucking talking about Mario Teaches Typing.
Right, because we live in an era where with Smash Brothers, Sonic and Sega All-Stars, like every video game can
be... With Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, well, of course. Every video game can be tied back to Donkey Kong Country if you were then to say, well, Super Smash Brothers had this. I mean, hell, if we started at the arcade games like people wanted us to, then you'd have all of Super Mario. It would be a nightmare, and it would lose the point of what we set out to do.
Sure. So, I mean, we picked something that works for basically the kind of games we wanted to cover, minus about 78% of the games we have to cover. Thanks, Cameo. But it sounded like it's not that we've found something that works for us, as did the Tommy Westfall universe folks, but it was like you were sort of casting aspersions on them. But
no. I'm just casting aspersions on the people who didn't come up with that idea but become so enamored with it that they think that's the only way to view it. And
you're hating it because it's popular.
Yeah, I'm being a hipster about it. I get, I was coming up with connected shared universes before it was cool, man. I mean, I was.
Yeah, it's you were like the homegrown organic Tommy Westfall.
Right. It's locally sourced, Chad. Right. It's better. It's better for you. It's better for the local economy. It's better for the environment.
Your theories on the Donkey Kong universe come in a mason jar, and there's only a run of 38. All right. So, what else? What actually? We haven't even gotten to due diligence.
Well, I think that was a healthy tangent. I feel like it really gets inside our mindset of how are these two guys going to talk about Donkey Kong? Like, what really makes them tick? How am I going to trust their views on Donkey Kong Country Barrel Maze?
Oh, I don't want that conversation to be representative of how I tick. That that was like an exercise in obscura that I don't know if anyone is interested in.
I think maybe the people who run the Tommy Westfall site would be interested in that.
That's true. They did get a lot of plugs.
They did. Oh.
Yeah, we are the Kingmakers.
Yes, we are the new Smash Brothers. So we're going to take your calls here in just a minute, but
right.
If you have never called the Kongversation before, you can follow such tantalizing conversations such as the one you just heard.
Oh, boy.
You can call the DK Vine hotline. We're at 1-281-410-KONG.
Right.
Chad, what number should that correspond to?
Some kind of monkey, I think.
No, I mean, if you were to take the KONG and apply that to a touch-tone phone.
Yeah, okay. Some kind of monkey, I think. Let me see. What would those numbers be? All right. 7663 KIND 5 4. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
No,
that's a lot of. Yeah, that was a lot for very little payoff.
1-281-410-5664.
Okay.
I solved the riddle for you.
Thank you.
I'm the laziest sphinx of all. Join the DK Vine forum at dkvine.com/forum.
Mm-hmm.
Can we still say with utmost certainty that there's never been a better time to join?
I can't think of a better time. I know we always say that, but it's going to be true this time.
Subscribe to DK Vine, DK Vine's Kongversation, I should say, on iTunes.
Yes.
Tunes. Yes, you can rate us on iTunes. Don't romance us with a nice dinner, and finally make passionate love to us after a long courtship and marriage. Mm-hmm. You see, I said that instead of rape.
Oh. I knew something was a little different.
Well, okay, I realized...
It felt a lot less misogynistic, but I didn't know why.
Well, I realized something this week, Chad.
What's that?
I realized that apparently begging people not to rape us is sexist.
Really?
Yeah.
I assumed there was nothing more genderly equal than no means no. That should be a universal, right?
Right. We're anti-rape. We're saying
we're vehemently anti-rape.
We're like, ladies, don't take us from behind with a strap on. We don't want that.
There are other ways to rape dudes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess there are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess Michael Jackson just like masturbated people under the covers.
What? So this was how you wanted to get us out of the doldrums of rape jokes.
No. I was just saying
mission failed.
I'm just saying it's time to move on from the rape jokes. Mm-hmm. From us being raped. Mm.
So what else do you have to say about Michael Jackson?
He was an excellent musician.
Yeah, I think so.
Great dancer.
Billie Jean, fantastic.
Yeah. Eat It.
Eat It was great. You know, I liked the one where he's like playing the accordion. It's like a polka song.
Yeah, I love that one. It's the Amish Paradise.
Amish Paradise was good. Oh, do you remember when he did the Keenan and Kel theme song?
I love that one.
Yeah.
He was in Batman and Robin. He was the bookie at the race with Batgirl and Robin.
That's right. You know, he was the only person that was in all 4 90s Batman movies.
I know. He was the best Alfred the Butler of them all.
That's right. I was very impressed with that actor.
Yeah.
I don't know how that just happened. That was amazing.
Good work, my friend.
Yeah.
So anyway, follow DK Vine on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Yeah. Just go to DK Vine and put a / after the com, and then type in whatever social networking thing, even Kick, you want to go to.
Put a / after the com? Wasn't that seen in Gone Girl?
Not since the sailors stole it and made it their life's work.
No idea what that means.
About the Seaman Cookbook.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He said they're just as interested in a copy of Gone Girl.
You see, in Gone Girl, Neil Patrick Harris ejaculates into Rosamund Pike and then gets his throat slit. Oh, spoilers.
Wait, what? I watched Gone Girl. Did that happen in that movie?
Yeah.
Really? That was the one with Ben Affleck and the chick who's like her parents wrote her into a kid's book and that movie?
Ben Affleck and then
Neil Patrick Harris is in that? Man, wait, I must not have been paying attention.
Yeah, and then we had the evil Bond girl from Die Another Day.
Oh yeah, was Neil Patrick Harris like he knew her like a while ago and like he was obsessed with her?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. I forgot that was MPH. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Anyway, yeah.
Got it. When are they going to make a new Dr. Horrible, by the way? They keep saying they will.
When there's another WGA strike.
Yeah, well, let's see. It's been about 7 years. They're about due, right?
Yeah.
Hey, writers got to make a living, man.
There's a lot of new media that they need to protest.
Right. There's always some kind of new media that's going to threaten the livelihood of Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, last plug. There is a new episode of the Geek Critique on YouTube.
Oh.
We've plugged the Geek Critique in the past, but it's a Donkey Kong Country based episode. It's 16 minutes long, so not as they don't go in any tangents about 80s and 90s sitcoms.
60 or 16?
16.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a Plinkett review.
No, but it's still very well done. They're very well polished, professional reviews, very entertaining. And
how many hookers does he kill in his basement in the Geek Critique?
Only as many hookers that were killed in the original Donkey Kong Country. So 12.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the measure of success that I give to like a fan pop culture review on a streaming video site is how many hookers are killed in the basement.
That's right. Yeah.
It's my thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, everyone's got to have a thing.
That's right. Yeah, it's really what turned me off of Richard Roper when he took over for the dearly departed Gene Siskel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's very well done. Check it out, the Geek Critique. And I'm not just plugging it because he plugged us on the episode. I watch every single episode, even like the Sonic the Hedgehog ones, because they make me like appreciate details of games I have no interest in. So kind of like what Red Letter Media does, where I'll watch the reviews of movies I have no interest in seeing, just to see their take on it.
Sure.
So yeah, it's definitely worth your time. Subscribe to him on YouTube.
But he did plug us.
He did plug us. Yeah.
Right. You know, I've never really understood why the word plug was used for, you know, mentioning someone to get their name out there kind of in a positive light, you know, or to drive traffic or, you know, because a plug, a plug is kind of a negative thing.
Yeah, well, you see, last week I would have probably said, well, it's because people like see other people take it in the butt. But you know what? You know, that could be construed as rape, so I'm not going to make that joke. I'm going to say that people don't like baldies, and you got to plug that up. Yeah.
Okay, because see, for me, anytime I think of the word plug, I think of like the first minute and a half of Carrie.
Is that where she
the Sissy Spacek one? Not,
yeah,
I haven't seen that.
Is that where she used like the tampon for the first time?
It's when she's in the shower and she gets her period, and then all the girls start chanting, "Plug it up, plug it up,"
yeah.
And it's like the most traumatizing thing that a young girl could go through. And it's like, but that's what I think of when I think of the word plug, and so it's like I have. It sounds like a very mean-spirited negative word.
Yeah, I was going to go with something completely non-sexual. I was just saying, you know, it's saying, hey, are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Here's a robust head of hair.
Right. Well, I can see how the bald to them plug would be like a sign of hope. It would be a ray of sunshine in their dreary male pattern life.
That's right. You know what I think does restore the hairline? Heinz ketchup, because look at John Kerry's head of hair. He's in his 70s, and it's still thick as a lion's mane.
There must have been something wrong with W ketchup. that Carl, the likes of Karl Rove, have not had the same fortune as John Kerry.
No, Karl Rove is actually losing all cellular shape. He's slowly melting.
Right. They'll have to fashion an oblong casket that's just sort of a roundish shape.
It'll just be it'll be some sort of a Tupperware container, just because
he'll eventually turn into Odo from off of Star Trek.
That's a reference I get.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're past time to take calls, but
why not?
Oh no, I was saying we're not going to take any calls because we wasted too much time.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm feeling generous, and it is the Winter Shitfucks. Maybe this will act as a UV light to my soul.
It won't.
No.
Hey guys, once again, good old Mamechi, or you know what? Why don't you come about my real name now? Tony. So, anyway, I just kind of thought about this right now, and so put yourself in these shoes. So let's say you are the head of marketing at Nintendo, and it just got announced at E3, or I guess you'd know about it before it was announced at E3, but whatever. That Donkey Kong Country Baja Blast is finally being released. So, since you're the head of marketing at Nintendo, how would you market Donkey Kong Country Baja Blast? Now, you could do anything, commercials, print advertisements, stupid things at restaurants, or anything you come up with for marketing Donkey Kong Country 3, Baja Blast, then go for it. So let me know. Personally, I think that that a guy in a Donkey Kong suit could tour around the country and be giving away some banana sundaes, like around the country, and something stupid like that. Anything. See you guys. Bye.
Well, thank you, Mamechi. Another very specific question, but we always love when you call in and ask us. It I don't know, man. What do you think? It kind of like gets my brain exercising in a way that it never does, because I'm not usually thinking of that many levels of intricacy.
I think Mamechi is just a talking Rubik's Cube at this point, because it's like, how am I going to solve this one?
Yeah. You sort of have to do some mental gymnastics to get yourself into the headspace. But
hold my calls. Tell work I'm not going to be in today. I've got to answer this Mamechi call.
Right. This is going to take every bit of energy my brain can muster. So, head of marketing for Nintendo.
I like it already.
Right. Yeah, oh God, what we would do.
Nintendo.com/DKVI.
You know, now I don't think I would ever want to be head of marketing for Nintendo unless I had tenure. And then, oh boy.
Well, first of all, I'm bringing back Play It Loud.
Well, obviously. That's what the kids are into.
Yeah, they're into extreme 90s fads and marketing gimmicks, right?
Yeah. The Play It Loud thing at the end of the commercial would have to be like this like really tinny sound that's sort of what you hear when your headphone is kind of hanging out your ear, because that's all the youth actually cares about is what it sounds like when their headphones are hanging around their neck. They don't actually listen to anything.
No. Well, we would sign a marketing deal with Dr. Dre's Beats.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be the first thing to successfully play it loud to today's youth.
Dr. Dre's Jungle Beats.
There you go. It's already working.
Yeah. So
this is the magic happening right here. Reggie, you got it. We just gave you our number. What are you waiting for?
That's right, Reggie. 1-281-410-KONG. Call it. I should go to the Nintendo World Store and just like accidentally drop a bunch of cards all over the floor with that number on it.
Yeah. The first episode they listened to is the one where Jeff says he wishes Iwata would suffer from a heart dissection.
Yeah. That's a strange name for an illness, too. It's such a violent, like, heart attack, of course, sounds violent.
Yeah.
But dissection, it's like your body is doing self-surgery. That's a very frightening thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know why you would want your heart ripped in two. I mean, I guess I was going to make a Three's Company joke, like maybe Two's Company is a crowd, but there's no way to make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
But, maybe Mr. Roper was, or like Don Knotts was, one of the paramedics listening to his chest and making all sorts of crazy faces like, what's going on in there?
Okay, so settle an argument with me. I maintain, this is my recollection from Nick at Night et al., that Mr. Roper was a different character from Don Knotts.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was arguing with someone about this, and they're like, Mr. Roper, Don Knotts. I'm like, Don Knotts was not Mr. Roper. He was like a handyman or something, right?
No, Don Knotts took over
Don
from...
Knotts?
Don Knotts was the landlord in the later half of the show.
He was the super. Okay, yeah. I remember Don Knotts as having like equipment and all that, but I also remembered Mr. Roper had a wife and everything.
Yeah, the Ropers were extremely popular. They got their own spin-off called the Ropers.
Right. They're very conservative, right? And that's the reason that he had to pretend to be gay.
Right. Yeah, because that doesn't really add up in today's culture, but back then,
right. It was like they would much rather, as a conservative husband and wife, renting out an apartment, they would rather he be gay than a straight man living with two women.
Yeah, who could possibly engaging in out of wedlock intercourse with them.
Yeah,
So,
you've got to pick a level of closed-mindedness, and I would not have thought that's the way they would go.
But it allowed for some shenanigans and for some light homophobia, so it was all good.
Yeah.
The Ropers
light homophobia.
The Ropers got their own show, and you might be interested to know that one of the characters in the Roper show was played by a young Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah.
So
wow. Okay. I am actually surprised to know that.
Yeah, and the Ropers only lasted, I think, half a season, but all in all, it's a thing that happened.
It's definitely a thing that's happened, and it can never unhappen.
Anyway, so Mamechi, we're head of marketing for Nintendo,
right.
And first thing to do is to have a Ropers themed campaign. Have CGI recreations of the Ropers playing Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Have the Ropers, think that Link is a homosexual and delight in all the innuendos that stem from that.
Yeah, he just wants to hang out in a crib with Malin and Zelda, but they won't let him do it because he can have sex with both of them out of wedlock and polygamy. But
that's what they call a Triforce. That
we'd much rather you gay, except for having them orgies. So, he's got now Link. He's got to switch.
Wait, why are they the bunkers now?
Oh, Chrissy.
Anyway, so it's announced at E3. Reggie can hear it coming. That Donkey Kong Country Baja Blast, which is the fan name we give the hypothetical third Donkey Kong Country Returns game. It's been announced. So as head of marketing, how would we announce it? And how would we announce it at E3, or how would we plug it afterwards? How would we give it hair plugs afterwards?
Well, first off, I would make sure it's sponsored by Quiznos, because any revelation is toasty.
I would actually go to Pepsi-Cola and say, look, Mountain Dew, we have to get a Mountain Dew flavor based on this game. Now, I think Pepsi-Cola has a annual deal with Microsoft and the Xbox.
Is that where the 10 manly calories came from?
That's Dr. Pepper.
Oh, is it? They're all kind of bleed together to me, except for my beloved Pepsi Max.
No, that's the beginning of Carrie.
I was just going to say, that's your urethra when you drink Pepsi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what happens to Aretha Franklin?
What? Now you're just doing word association. That's not a joke. Urethra sounds like urethra.
Pepsi gives her lady parts no RESPECT.
Oh Jesus.
Anyway, so no, but Pepsi has game fuel for Xbox. But if they don't have like a 10-year agreement or anything, I would go to them and be like, look, you got to do a gamer fuel for this new Donkey Kong Country game, because I think I remember Donkey Kong 64 did that deal with, speak of the devil, Dr. Pepper. That's right. So I think having that product placement is actually, we were just talking about product placement.
Oh my God, I just remembered. One of those Dr. Pepper bottles is in my parents' attic and has been for about 14 years. No, 16 years now.
Well, your parents' attic now has a giant hole in it.
Yeah, there's no way that plastic bottle still has fidelity.
2 or 3 years tops.
Oh my God.
They're going to be eaten through.
Yeah, that thing must have sunk into all their insulation like a long time ago.
So
Whoops.
if Chad's parents want an appraisal done in their house anytime soon, got some bad news.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Donkey Kong on the bottle. What was I supposed to do? Throw it away?
At the most, it's just creating a new secret passage in the house. You know, it's just leading to a bonus room.
See, it adds value.
That's right.
Yeah, this is like House Hunters International.
Outside, is that the spinoff of Ghost Hunters International?
That's right. Yeah. They basically, it's the houses that the ghost hunters deemed did not have ghosts. Then the realtors come in.
But Chad, every episode they deemed it to have ghosts. No, that's not true. I think Ghost Hunters actually, there were some episodes where they're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with your house. To their credit, they didn't just say.
I thought they all ended inconclusive.
No. To their credit, they didn't say there's invisible people in every house we go into. Anyway,
it's funny how so many, vastly many more people have died than are alive, but ghosts aren't overrunning everywhere.
Well, you saw the Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg joint Ghost, right?
I did.
Yeah, so you only stick around when you have unfinished business.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're really only interested in pottery, since that's more kind of a lost art these days.
That's why the upcoming Melissa McCarthy Kristen Wiig Ghostbusters will exclusively take place in a pottery barn.
All right, okay. Do you think there'll be in the third act they'll fight the evil at Color Me Mine?
Yeah, and then Melissa McCarthy will have diarrhea as she's she's wont to do in these types of films.
I hope she has that diarrhea in an unconventional receptacle.
Oi.
Fuck you.
So anyway, Mamechi, back to your point.
Oh yeah, Mamechi.
Which, by the way, Tony.
Yes, Tony. Speaking of, it has been revealed, Mamechi is called Tony.
I like Mamechi better. No offense, Tony.
Let's stick with Mamechi. Your parents got it wrong. You got it right.
Yeah, Mamechi is more fun to say. Anything with more syllables is automatically more fun to say. Anything that kills more airtime is more fun to say.
Yeah.
Rule of the conversation. Mm-hmm. So
we're very good at it. Anyway, no, that's arguable.
Head of marketing, how would we announce it or how would we promote it? I'm still not sure, but I would go to Mountain Dew, or if Mountain Dew and PepsiCo turns us down, go back to Dr. Pepper. But I think Mountain Dew would be the best brand for a Donkey Kong Country game. I mean,
really, of all the brands, Mountain Dew is the best one.
Soda brands, yeah. I mean, maybe go back to Taco Bell. I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it's called Baja Blast, they would have to go back to Taco Bell. But
it's not going to be called Baja Blast.
He said Baja Blast.
He said Baja Blast, but you know what he meant. I mean, that's just our jokey name for it, for lack of a better name.
Look, he said Tony, but he means Mamechi. I don't want to presume what Mamechi Tony is actually thinking. He said Baja Blast. I'm going to take him at his word.
All right, fair enough.
But anyway, so okay, let's stop thinking food, fast food and soda tie-ins. Aside from
that's the lifeblood of these marketing campaigns, successful marketing campaigns.
You wouldn't think that like a Dyson vacuum would want to cross promote with this game or anything. It's just some kind of respectable brand.
That would be better suited for Luigi's Mansion, and you know it.
Yeah, actually, that would have been perfect.
See, but if we were in head of Nintendo marketing, then we could make those decisions for all games.
We would sell so many vacuums, son. All right.
So, Mamechi, you want to have a guy in a DK suit tour the country and give out banana sundaes, but you remember what happened the last time Nintendo had a guy in a Donkey Kong suit. He, I shit you not, suffered from a dissected aorta.
Yeah. Didn't he sue Nintendo?
Oh yeah, he had the John Ritter syndrome, and because he was in the costume too long or something, and he wasn't getting the proper amounts of water, so his heart said, "Nope, I'm out of here."
Wait, is dissected aorta something that you can get from being in a Donkey Kong costume?
He had a pre-existing condition, Chad.
So why? Oh, wait. Hang on. Obamacare, for all its faults, says there's no longer such a thing as a pre-existing condition.
So he was able to get the help he needed after he delighted children and terrified them in a Donkey Kong costume. No, I would have a promotion with like maybe all the zoos in the country that have great apes or monkeys. Mm-hmm. I mean, that whole event did happen at a zoo, but call up the National Zoo, call up the zoo in San Diego. Those are the only two zoos I really know. And
every city has a zoo.
Yeah, well, not every city.
Every city, yeah. LaGrange, Texas, the midway point between Austin and Houston. Yeah, they have a raccoon. They got a dealer.
It's a free range zoo.
Right, right, exactly. It's just called the Woods, but you still have to pay admission.
Go back to the Twycross Zoo where it all began, and have them promote it. But
okay, now speaking of the Twycross Zoo, you remember the oft-mentioned DKC exposed VHS tape?
I remember that a couple gentlemen in that may or may not have gotten paid.
That's right. Because guess what? They got paid, etc. So there was a part in that video where they say they go to the Twycross Zoo and look at two gorillas, one of which is kind of a juvenile one standing on his hind legs, and he calls him Diddy, despite the fact Diddy's a monkey. But anyways, like, Donkey, Diddy, how does it feel to be a prototype, fellas? And it's as if he's talking to them, but when he does talk to Tim Stamper, he does a long distance phone call. So I doubt they actually shot any of that in Twycross. I don't think that was the Twycross Zoo, but in my mind, that's always been what the Twycross Zoo and what those gorillas that became the game inspirations looked like. But I don't think that was them. I think it's a farce.
No, I think what you witnessed was a little bit of a sleight of hand.
What?
And I think that was a zoo in Redmond, Washington.
Ugh. That just, that really bothers me. Like, I want to go to the Twycross Zoo now and see what their gorillas look like.
Yeah, and then you could see a little juvenile gorilla and say, hey, it's Diddy. And then you would be shunned because I would hope the people at the Twycross Zoo would understand the historical importance of Donkey Kong Country and how important it is to get your facts straight.
Oh, you mean the fact that a gorilla is not a monkey?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say you were going for the angle that they're just so tired of people going to the zoo and doing that.
Yeah, it's like that new Geico commercial where, you don't have TV anymore.
Geico has terrible commercials on Hulu. They are just like fucking horrendous. But
so you've seen the camel commercial then, where they go to the zoo and they harass the camel.
Yeah, but it's not even a joke. Oh, the worst one. Have you seen the one that has TLC, or is it Salt and Pepper?
Push It Real Good?
Yeah, Push It Real Good. Was that Salt and Pepper?
It has to be Salt and Pepper because one member of TLC is dead.
Oh, my apologies.
I think it's L.
She stopped chasing waterfalls. Was that TLC?
It was TLC by way of Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
No, because Paul McCartney had Don't Go Jumping Waterfalls. TLC had Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls.
Right. But
and even the song was structured the same, but they didn't credit him, and he was pissed about it.
Yeah.
He never sued them, though.
He should have. That was his song. It's obvious. It's like
they changed a substantial portion of the lyrics. They didn't say something about a friendly polar bear taking you home. But
right. But honestly, like, if something is that close or like as close as Stay With Me money and won't back down. You know, it's. I feel like there's some legitimate legal justification there.
Yeah, I mean, it was anyway. Sorry, something Paul McCartney, something Tony Shalhoub. Continue.
Tony Shalhoub, Monk,
Wings.
Oh yeah, bringing it back around. Okay, that's
comedy.
Right. Oh, is that what we're trying to do? No. What was? How did we get over onto that tangent? I need to trace it back.
To the Twycross Zoo.
That's right.
Promoting Baja Blast.
Okay, Mamechi, Tony, how you doing? Pretty good. Welcome to the treehouse. Thank you very much. That was actually from the video. There's a guy called Tony in it.
Also on Wings, there was a guy named Tony Shalhoub.
His name, the character, was Tony Shalhoub?
It should have been.
Okay, might as well, yeah. I mean, God, Tony Shalhoub, he plays himself in every role. Remember Men in Black?
Yeah.
God, she's like looking at it's Tony Shalhoub. It's Tony Shalhoub. He's just always playing Tony Shalhoub. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. All you see is Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't see a guy who wants to get Turbo Man for his kids. It's just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What character are you?
I don't know. I just went into that. I don't know what it was.
You're losing grasp of your sanity, Chad.
I think so.
Reality is crumbling down around you.
I don't know what that was, Hyle. I'm scared. So yeah, he doesn't want to put someone in a DK suit. I don't know how to answer this question. I'll agree with you, Dr. Pepper. I don't care.
Also, I would have a marketing campaign. I would air. This is the important part, and I think it's something we touched upon on the show. Air commercials for the show on something other than Cartoon Network.
Yes, that's the thing. Like Nintendo, like there's a nostalgia market that could be tapped into, but they don't do a very good job of that. Like Smash Brothers did actually branch out a bit, but I think they put pretty much all their ad budget for the year behind Mario Kart and Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Smash Brothers was, before movies. It was in movie trailers. It was aired in prime time. Yeah, you would see Smash Brothers commercials, but they don't do that for every game.
Yeah. Now, if we're also in charge of marketing, does that mean we have a say on like what things are called? Because obviously he's just asking us about Baja Blast, but would we have any say in like the how things are labeled, if there's a new feature, if we in the game, if we can call it not something dumb where we just add a letter on the end and hope people realize it's different? Like how much jurisdiction do we have to undo some of the bad precedent that Nintendo marketing has set?
I mean, I think we would have to be subservient to what Japan wants, because we're long past the days where America or Europe could rebrand what Japan puts out. Like that ended when we lost the rights to the Nintendo Ultra 64, and it had to become the Nintendo 64.
I think you say that ended when we lost the rights to the nuclear high ground.
Anyway, so
America's a terrible country. All right.
Anyway, yeah, it would be better if we lived under Sharia law. I think we can all agree on that point.
No, Hyle, no. That will never attract those new listeners.
You know what? I am just a liberal guy who makes racist, misogynistic jokes
about rape.
Who wants to live under Sharia law. What is so hard to understand about the show?
Makes perfect sense to me. And what's more, you're constantly speaking in a serious tone of voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My serious tone of voice indicates that there is no way I am being ironic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you never betray that stoic exterior, and that's how we know that you mean what you say.
That's right. I don't. Yes, exactly. Anyway, so
there you go, Mamechi.
We Christianity is a crock, right?
Yeah.
Right, Chad?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So that sums up the conversation, and that's why we would be perfect for the head of marketing job at Nintendo.
Oh God.
We could put like pop-up ads in like hotel Bibles. You open it up and it would be like, You think Jesus is great? Wait till you see Cranky Kong's new cane bounce.
Greatest.
You think Jesus can walk on water? You haven't seen anything till you've seen Kitty Kong's roll skip or whatever you call that, water skip. Yeah.
Greatest story ever told. Wait till you hear about Lanky Kong's stand-up career.
So I think
truly he is Kong of Kongs.
How is it that we've never had anybody on the forum named Kong of Kongs?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, Mamechi.
Yeah.
And we hope we sufficiently answered your question.
Well, look, he was ending the call laughing at his own question. He knows that it was an absurd thing to ask us.
You're right. Shame on you, Mamechi.
Shame on you, Tony.
Oh.
Tony.
Hey, Chad and Hyle. The last message I left was rambling of a drunken madman, but let's forget that and let's move on to my real question. I would love to hear what you would like to see in a DK Vine or a DKU amiibo line. Not that we know that the Super Mario Brothers are going to have their own amiibo line. I think that the most relevant group of amiibos would be DKU related or Zelda related. So, once Zelda comes out, then we get some DKU people. So who would you like to see in that line besides Donkey and Diddy and Cranky and Dixie? Thanks, guys.
Seth, you seem a little down on yourself this time. You all right there, buddy?
Hi, Seth. How you doing? Hey, Seth, you still want to do that Mario versus Donkey Kong episode?
He usually sounds really enthusiastic. This one, he's a little demure, but anyway, it was a good question. We touched...
It's a relevant question.
Yes, considering you, Hyle, you just purchased, I think today, one of the Super Mario Brothers line of amiibo, didn't you?
I pre-ordered the Mario Party 10, no judgments, bundle pack.
You can't just
Amazon.
say no judgments when you make something that I can judge that hard.
Okay, I want to say I was drunk when I did it, but the truth is I got caught up in the frenzy of seeing that it was available to pre-order again because I think my mentality was I'm not going to let the scalpers beat me to this.
Wait, was this like a special edition of anything, or did you just get an amiibo with the game?
You just get an amiibo with the game that's coming out in March.
But why would scalpers care?
Because they've been buying up everything.
Well, like
Nintendo.
special editions and stuff, right? But
yeah, well, this is a special edition. It comes with the Mario amiibo.
Oh, it's boxed in. I thought it was just like a deal where you buy an amiibo and you buy the thing, and they're like just separate
it's boxed
items.
It's boxed in.
Okay, well, you're gonna throw away the box, right?
Maybe after a while.
After a while. After
You never
that
know when
hoarding
I'm gonna-
therapist comes to your house, you might throw it away.
You never know when I'm going to need that box.
You're right. It could be very useful. You could store clothespins in it.
No,
You're not going to, but you could.
I'm just saying, Batman, he's always prepared for any situation. And he doesn't throw away his boxes.
Please tell me there was like a 3-year arc in which Batman becomes a hoarder and doesn't throw anything away, and it's just one of those things that unless you're really into the comic, you have no idea happened.
Yeah, they spelled it out eventually when the Robins and Alfred had an intervention.
The Robins, they got them all together. Batman, even though you put us in harm's way on a regular basis, we all still really care for you.
There is such. I mean, he's had 5 Robins now.
Jesus, that is not a good track record.
No, only 2 of them have died. Oh no, wait, 3. No. Okay, yeah, Stephanie Brown. They thought she died, but she actually had her death faked. So yeah, just 2.
Okay, so 60%. That's almost passing in an American school.
To be fair. Both Robins that died eventually got better. Comic books,
Yeah.
Anyway, so Seth, Why not a Donkey Kong amiibo line? Well, it's because Nintendo won't be doing that. But I mean, I think Chad and I are in agreement here that the odds are very, very slim that we'll ever get a Donkey Kong amiibo line.
Oh yeah,
right?
well, as he pointed out, they're obviously gonna have to go through Mario. Pokemon seems like an obvious choice if Game Freak could ever get their shit together and put out a proper console Pokemon game. I'm not talking about Pokken, even though
the new 3DS, you can just scan your amiibos on there, so you don't even need a console game.
That's true. Okay, well then, yeah, next new gen, not non-remake Pokemon game they put out, they'll probably launch an amiibo line next to it. I'm guessing that Hyrim is going to come with a Zelda line, as you pointed out. The thing is, they may do a Donkey Kong line if a new Donkey Kong game will come out, and that's the big if right now.
Honestly, if Kevin Callahan gets his shit together and lets us know what's going on with Diddy Kong Racing Wii U, I could really see a line of amiibos for that. If that's like the big game of the fall or whatever,
Yeah, I'm just really annoyed that, and we talked about this last episode or the one before, how the first amiibo line is a cross-franchise Smash line, because that just muddies all the waters. I would be fine with it if it was separated by franchise, like all of their non-amiibo action figures are.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just kills and dampers any enthusiasm. Kills and dampers.
Yes.
Any enthusiasm for any of these individual lines, like, oh, the Super Mario line, well, who cares, because we already got all the main guys in Smash Brothers,
Right.
Where a Donkey Kong line or a Zelda line, well, maybe less so a Zelda line, but definitely a Donkey Kong line, there would be more enthusiasm, I think, from at least the fans of that series, because you would be getting all these characters, sans Donkey and Diddy, who you haven't gotten in Smash.
Well, are you saying that there wouldn't be enthusiasm for the Zelda line? People would go fucking apeshit over that.
Well, to be fair, we're going to be getting, there's Zelda, there's Link, there's Sheik. We'll probably have a Ganondorf amiibo in the Smash line.
And there's a Toon Link already as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, when you think about, like, Zelda, like, those are the heavy-hitting characters. I mean, after that, you've got severely diminishing returns. You've got Impa, you've got
all the sages, Darunia, Rauru, Saria.
You've got those one-off characters, who appear in one game.
The girl who catches bugs in Twilight Princess.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, all the heavy hitters have already been touched or will be touched in the Smash line. So,
right.
Zelda line, people would go nuts for it, but I don't think it would sell as well as having a line where you could focus on amiibos that haven't been done already.
Well, it's almost the same, though, because, I mean, if you look at it, yeah, Sheik and Zelda are the same character. Link and Toon Link are, okay, they're, not generationally the same character, but...
Well, neither are Zelda and Sheik at this point. You can make the argument.
No. Ocarina of Time Zelda is Ocarina of Time Sheik.
But the Zelda in Smash
is... yeah, that was Twilight Princess Zelda, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you're right. Okay, fair enough. Okay, but anyway, they are basically just three characters: Link, Ganon, and Zelda. If you don't get into the whole like intricate rebirth cycle that Zelda has, we have two characters that are already covered. That's just one less. I don't think it's that different of a thing,
Maybe. We also have a bigger extended cast than Zelda, at least as far as heavy hitting characters. I'm just saying, like Zelda, there's very few reoccurring characters that jump from game to game.
Yeah, but of late we have very few reoccurring characters as well.
True, but people have made Lanky Kong a meme, so there's that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, at any rate, if we do see them, what would we want to see? Let's get past whether or not it will ever happen.
All right. Well, I actually talked about this with Jeff last night. Our pillow talk.
Boy, yeah. Should I be jealous?
Well, I just came to his place because I wanted that genuine Smash Brothers experience he was raving about.
And how did it hold up?
He rated me. He did not rate me.
Oh.
5 stars.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. You don't have to brag.
Yeah. So anyway, I think if there was a DK line, how many amiibos are generally in one wave?
Oh, I've never really done the numbers. Doesn't it vary
Maybe.
wildly?
I don't know. Would it be 5? I think 5 sounds good.
Yeah, 5 sounds about right.
All right. So first wave, I'd have DK and Diddy in different poses.
So you're going to double dip, a la Mario.
Well, you kind of have to because you couldn't have a first wave without DK or Diddy, right?
Right.
DK, Diddy, Dixie, Cranky, K. Rool. Boom.
You wouldn't go the Tropical Freeze cast?
It depends what these are tied into. They're not going to be tied into Tropical Freeze. There's not going to be an update for Tropical Freeze that supports amiibos. So,
well, right, but the Mario line is launching alongside Mario Party 10, not alongside a mainline Mario game.
So let's say this launches alongside Donkey Kong Country Baja Blast and Retro or whoever brings back the Kremlins.
Okay, then K. Rool would be fine. I'm just thinking if it was alongside a more generic or non-mainline. Hey, remember those times when we used to have Donkey Kong franchise spin-off games? Those were the days. So if it was a King of Swing kind of thing.
Oh, well, those weren't the days because all we had was King of Swing.
Okay, but I liked people doing interesting things with the license. It just would have been nice if there was a main franchise as well.
Remember when we were going to have all those spin-off games and then Rare canceled or changed all of them because they were bought by Microsoft?
Yeah, although from the rubble we got It's Mr. Pants, and I would never want to roll that back.
That's true. I'll take that over coconut crackers any day.
Yeah.
I love you! And what's great is that's still DKU, so it's not like we even lost a game there.
Yeah, we had to do some creative gymnastics with Boggy the Polar Bear's television, but
I mean, if we couldn't make it work, we couldn't make it work. I would have let that lie. I wanted Saberman GBA to be Saberwolf GBA to be DKU2, and it's not.
Right, but that was a little more clear cut considering he was in a game from the 80s,
Yeah, hey, look, he was on a TV, all right? Mr. Pants was first introduced in Banjo-Tooie, so
right
there you go.
Yeah, it wasn't even a cheat code like in Jet Force Gemini.
Right, exactly. It didn't alter the reality of the game in any way. It was part of that. Anyway, what are we doing?
I had a theory that the lava world that Gobi spoke of was going to be the lava world from Jet Force Gemini that turned out to be Eshabone, which actually.
It's funny you mentioned Jet Force Gemini because I think we have something in the works that might please fans of JFG.
What's that?
JFG.
Oh, okay. So, no, I mean, what are the plans that would please people? Even though I know I'm just using a rhetorical device, that's what you do when you host a show.
Well, we've got a certain really kind-hearted, sweet Australian fellow on retainer by the name of Alistair Craig, who is also a big fan of Jiffica, and we might be doing an episode.
It sounded like you were doing Jiffica, which would be JFK.
Jiffica.
Right. No less tragic.
Right. Anyway, so. We're actually doing something called to steal a term from a Mr. Milo. We're doing episode called an honorable mention. It's going to be the first in a series of games that were almost Donkey Kong Universe, but for whatever reason didn't quite make it.
Yes, and actually on the subject of honorable mentions, keep an eye on the website. Very soon, we hope to be rolling out the first of several Milo written honorable mentions features that detail the games that are not DKU. They don't quite meet the broader Tommy Westphal-esque criteria that we hold to a smaller subset of that, but they still bear mentioning in an honorable way.
To borrow a line from Mr. Don Adams, it missed it by that much.
All right, so did we answer this question? Oh, okay, so we got wave 1.
I gave you my wave. I don't know what your wave would be.
Okay, I more or less agree. We were going back. I agree on Dixie Diddy, DK, Cranky. It was the question of Funky versus K. Rool, but I'll give you K. Rool. I think that it would be nice to see him get a little more spotlight.
Now, so we are tying this to a specific hypothetical game rather than a broader line, because then we'd have a real debate there of who would we bring in.
Well,
and of course,
I think it's easier to do a broader line because we have no idea what that game would be.
All right, I still stand by my choices for Wave 1 then, even if it was a broader line.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. I'll go with K. Rool certainly if it's a broader line. Wave 2. Let me give you mine.
All right.
We're doing 5 again, right?
Sure.
Cranky, Ramby.
Wait, Cranky's not in your Wave 1?
No, I'm going with K. Rool. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I said Donkey, Diddy, Dixie, Cranky, K. Rool.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Funky then. Funky, okay. Ramby, Lanky. I want Lanky in there. Kitty.
People love Lanky.
Kitty, just to round out the original trilogy. Lanky, Kitty. Oh, shit. I got one more. Do I do Animal Buddy or Bad Guy? Squitter.
Wow. All right. I would go with agree with Funky, Lanky, Ramby.
Okay.
I think that's solid. I think Lanky is kind of edging his way up in popularity, and I think he would be like the 6th most viable Kong at this point.
Yeah.
And then I think I would go with maybe another Animal Buddy. We're gonna say Squawks. I go Squawks.
Yeah, Squawks is another obvious Yeah, I mean, Squawks has certainly been in more games than Squitter.
And then I would go with Lord Frederick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've got a system here, because then in Wave 3...
You go Kalimba?
I would go with Kalimba, who I think serves as a better representation of the Tiki Tak tribe rather than Tiki Tong, who's kind of unwieldy and personality devoid.
Well, he's a floating head and hands, and that is one of the more irritating boss tropes in video games.
Right, where Kalimba is at least to scale with the other characters. So
and Kalimba was used in like all of the marketing materials to represent the Tikis.
So I think Kalimba alongside, and this is where I would get a little bit more esoteric with my choices.
Sure. And we're still talking Donkey Kong, not DKU, right?
Well, how could you do a DKU game besides maybe bring it in Star Fox Adventures? But that wouldn't sell. You couldn't tie that in conceivably with a line, you know?
Tricky, the Donkey Kong character.
Yeah, that's right. That website. Well, if we were in charge of Nintendo marketing, maybe that wouldn't be a problem. But
right.
Anyway, no, I would have Tiny, Candy, Kitty. Would I have Kitty?
Well, I put Kitty in my Wave 2.
Let's nix Candy. Tiny, Kitty, because Kitty would be my Wave 3.
Yeah.
I would have Ingard, Squitter, Kalimba. That's my 5.
Okay. So is this wave where we start getting into the Ultron Wars, or is that... I don't think we should go much deeper with this.
No, we could go up to Wave 9 when you're going to have the likes of Brash and Bazooka Bear. You know, it's not going to be something that would last that long. 3 waves is pushing it, but yeah, those are my choices. And I'm picking some. I'm skipping over some favorites. Like I'm not having any Brothers Bear. I'm not having really obscure guys because I'm being trying to be realistic with it as possible.
Yeah, we have a feature.
Not having Swanky Kong. I love Swanky Kong. I love a Swanky amiibo, but I know that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
We have a feature on the website called the Character Mashup, in which readers of the site have a la the face mash protocol that Mark Zuckerberg wrote before Facebook, can vote on which DKU character is best. And so if we have the top 10, if the readers would have selected their first 2 waves, it would be K. Rool in Wave 1, K. Rool, Moggy Bear.
So this is a general DKU. This is if Rare was somehow purchased again.
Right. This is all the top 10 characters as rated by our readers. Let's assume that these would be in a world where we could do Rare characters. K. Rool, Moggy Bear, On Guard, Groggy Bear, and Soggy Bear.
What? That still doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. See, I love this about the character mashup tool because the different groups of characters sometimes just rise their way to the top in a very strange way. I don't understand why all of Boggy's children are so highly voted right now. Wave 2 would be Squitter, Donkey Kong, Crunch, Swanky Kong, and Kitty Kong. Good God, you people are weird. Mario is number 562 in the list.
Why? Yeah, why are we so like removed from the rest of the internet? I just don't know.
Yeah, here are the bottom 10, by the way. Bud, Peach Toadstool, Bud, yeah.
From Married with Children?
That's right, yeah. Mario, Dune Club Caddy Master, Tingle, Sunny, Jigglypuff, Nana, Flint, and Marth.
Oh, poor Marth.
Poor Marth.
You may have had a good selling amiibo, Marth, but you're dead last in the DKU character mashup.
Moggy, Groggy, and Soggy, first wave. That's amazing.
Well, people like abused children, neglected children.
I suppose so. All right.
Their father loves Mr. Pants, and he loves masturbating in the living room. So,
well, what are you going to do with that kind of upbringing?
Yeah.
All right.
Getting the first wave of amiibos, apparently.
Clearly. So that's what ours would be, Seth, and that's what yours would be.
Because Donkey Kong is better than Mario. Debate 1.
Better by a degree of like 500 to 1.
Right. See, we just took this to the people. We didn't even have to debate.
It's perfectly scientific.
It's democracy.
Yeah. Groggy Bear is going to win the Iowa straw poll.
Maybe Mario would win under Sharia law, but not here in the good US of A.
No, sir. Maybe over in Italy, part of the Axis powers, but here in Brooklyn,
we give him the boot.
Man, we should have done propaganda posters in the 40s. We were born out of time, I think.
Well, we'd still become ahead of Nintendo marketing. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Propaganda posters from the 40s.
Yeah, put them on those Dr. Pepper bottles.
When you ride alone, you ride with Sony. All right. Let's take another call.
All right.
What's up, Hyle, Chad, and Jeff? This is Thomas Freestad, or Baron Barrier from the forums. I was listening to last week's Part 1 episode, and I found myself agreeing with a lot of the points, but coming at them from a bit of a different angle. At one point, you guys kind of agreed that even if K. Rool and Dixie were playable characters, the game would still be a piece of shit. I found that a bit bizarre coming from you guys, because you guys put so much importance on, universe and continuity and character, that sort of thing. I mean, the game's modes are pretty shitty, yes, but character in general is something that I think a lot of Smash fans sell short as a key element of the series, and that this game's roster more than anything else is a symptom of Sakurai and Code just kind of going through the motions. It seems as though fans nowadays will kind of lift up lackluster newcomers because they're so unique or they're so balanced, but the past 3 games weren't as great as they were because Donkey Kong was top tier or because Captain Falcon was so dazzlingly original. It's because Smash is a special opportunity for goddamn Donkey Kong to beat the living hell out of goddamn Captain Falcon in outer space with a home run bat. Nowadays, it seems like it's just kind of assumed that, oh, it's Smash, it's fun, you're going to buy it no matter what, so here's a bunch of new stuff, XOXO. I mean, Hyle mentioned how stupid the trophy write-ups were, and if you look at them, you can see that the new characters aren't really considered for who they are, but as a generalization of what they are. Like, hey, you can play as a ninja frog, here's a fitness trainer, a magic anime swordsman, a futuristic anime swordsman, a Mii swordsman. You can make to look anime. Even the old characters get this kind of flanderization. Like Wario isn't Wario, he's now gross fat man. Diddy isn't Diddy, he's DK's small monkey partner. It's a sad de-evolution from what the series once was, I think. I was just wondering, do you guys find any legitimacy in that angle of the game? I mean, you guys aren't like a lot of other forums where the prevailing sentiment is, okay, the game's out, you kitty casuals who like the character crossover, shut up, accept what you got. Get out so us adults in the room can discuss wave dashing and banning all the stages and all the stuff that actually matters. I'm wondering whether you guys would agree or disagree with that, or, to what extent, and why you feel the way that you do. Thank you so much for your time, and keep up the top-tier work in the new year. Cheers.
Hey, it's Thomas.
Yeah, Mr. Freestat, a.k.a. Baron Barrier, who was...
a.k.a. B. Koopas. Yeah.
Yeah, the voice of the K. Rool for Smash campaign.
That's right. I was going to say movement, but that just sounds like he's the voice of K. Rool's monster shits.
Yeah. So, Baron, thank you for calling. He's always so well spoken. I mean, I know he was on the show to discuss his campaign, but
that sounds like a vague insult. Like, I'm just surprised how well spoken that Baron Barrier is.
Well, as compared to the rest of our call, that's so mean. I don't mean that. I'm playing up the asshole thing for the benefit of the listener. Newspapers. So one day we'll have to say where that joke comes from. Not today.
I'll have to put it on YouTube at least.
Oh, yeah, we could put that on YouTube. I still have the files.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might get on YouTube one day. That was actually pretty good. It was something we made in college. It's a sex tape.
It was our aborted Elvis and Slick Monty spinoff. I can just say that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It was a late night talk show that we did 3/4 of an episode of. So anyway, Baron Barrier. Yeah, so you were surprised that, we kind of discounted whether, if K. Rool and Dixie were in the game, that to us the game would still be shit. And I still stand by that, though. Hyle, do you want to roll that back?
I don't want to roll it back. I would say that I expected you, Thomas, to kind of take some umbrage at that, to be taken aback a bit because we have been allies in the K. Rool campaign, and I still are. I still want K. Rool on Smash Brothers. I just am past the point of caring about Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And I think that would I have enjoyed the game any more? I mean, on a superficial level, I think, I'm playing as K. Rool, but ultimately I still find the game to be tedious.
Yeah.
If the game was, look, Diddy wasn't in Melee. Of course, neither were K. Rool or Dixie. Melee was still a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Right.
If you don't have that fun, you don't have anything. And I didn't find Smash Brothers to be fun. Hey, we're talking about Smash Brothers again, Chad.
Oh God. Well. He actually said hi to you, me, and Jeff, but we booted that podcast character off the show last episode.
That's right.
So thank you, Jeff, by the way, for being on the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. No, but I think that Tom kind of, I'm going to call him Tom. We're really close. Thomas answered his own question, though. He talked about...
Can we call him Tommy?
Sure. Tommy, in Friedstadt, that's kind of a mouthful. Let's just go with Westfall.
Yeah, that's right.
So Tommy Westfall said,
imagining in a snow globe that K. Rool is in Smash Brothers.
Right. Well, he talked about how it used to be it was fun to have DK hit another character with a bat. Just seeing that was its own sort of selling point for the game, but. We're now on the fourth and a half generation of the game, and I think the novelty has worn off a little. So it is just the new characters don't mean as much. It's just it's something fresh, but I don't care really. I never fantasized about seeing Duck Hunt Dog and Mario in the same game, aside from the cartridge that Duck Hunt premiered on.
And I think it's a little hard, though, to get excited about the new characters because none of them really are fantasy mashups, except maybe Mega Man and Pac-Man.
Yeah, and those are third parties, which to me, I don't know, that never really meshes right in my mind. I like having them there, but I've never really fantasized about it. Maybe there are people who have, people from the arcade generation. But
so I think it's even hard to have that perspective because Smash really provided none of that fan service this time around. It was which half-nude anime boys does Sakurai have a fixation on?
Oh, God, let's not go down that path.
No, I'm just saying, like Shulk, one of his costumes, he's in his underwear.
Oh yeah, and I actually really appreciate that. I think it's nice considering that we've got the Justin Bailey outfit from Metroid.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's ridiculous that Samus is in her bikini. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. That's an option. I'm glad Samus
only has so many suits, so eventually, if you have 8 options, you're gonna have to put her in the bikini one. That's just.
I'm glad the objectification, if it has to exist, goes both ways.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I actually, it's refreshing to me that we have a shirtless, Tiger Beat Shulk in the game.
Yeah.
Next to JTT.
We already had a pantsless Diddy Kong, so what more do the ladies need?
Right?
I mean,
Come
really?
on.
The ladies and the men who enjoy men.
Or bestiality.
Well, the ape raper, I mean, he's here with us every week.
That's true.
He wants something in the game.
We should do a whole episode where we interview the ape raper and see what he thinks.
I'm sure that episode won't be controversial the slightest.
Okay, so anyway, I think that...
Why do we still use that? Why do we sign that guy to a decade-long contract?
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
We were just starting out. We were young. We were naive.
Yeah, it was a different time. Tropical
This guy wants
Freeze
to do
hadn't
our-
been announced.
This guy wants to do our theme song.
Yeah, and so he
not?
wants to talk about his hobbies at the end and chronicle the sagas of what's going on a weekly basis in his life. I mean, like, look, he's giving us free music.
Exactly.
We're not going to turn it away. That would be crazy. Anyway.
So
yeah, I think the novelty's worn off, and that's really why I don't. Even with Dixie and K. Rool, it's just it sort of seems like just another Smash Bros. It's going through the motions. It's just another process. I think the excitement has been squeezed out of the franchise for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get that back. You just have to have a change in management. And I mean, I'm not saying like, give Sakurai the boot, but I think Sakurai said all he has to say about Smash Brothers.
Yeah, well, I think he's said enough that if anyone tried to make him do another one, I think that it would. They should expect not his best foot forward, because he's said he's pretty much said he.
Well, his hands are so wrecked, he's probably going to have to program it with his feet.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, man.
What? No, I mean, he suffered from the thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying I'm glad he'd have to develop with his feet. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
Just keeping it real.
I don't want to be racist, but
I'm just keeping it 100, Larry Wilmore style.
Oh, God, that bothers me, that keep it 100 segment. Is he still doing that on a nightly basis? Do you watch it?
I haven't watched it in the last week.
Okay, well, yeah. So
we should introduce a segment. Keep it 101
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just Larry Wilmore's whole. Did we talk about this on the air or off the air? I can't remember.
Off the air.
Off the air. So Larry Wilmore took Stephen Colbert's time slot on Comedy Central. And at the end of the episode, he has it's kind of a more panel oriented, a la Bill Maher, and he has a segment called "Keep It 100," where he poses a very binary black and white question, because it's a race relations show, to his guest, and they basically have to give him a straight answer of one of his options that he's given. And if they try and introduce any nuance into their answer, he calls them out and said, keep it 100.
And he gives them a tea bag to symbolize weak tea. He's throwing weak tea at them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Anyway, so that's the kind of boiling down of complex issues that Jon Stewart railed against that was largely contributory to getting Crossfire canceled. And
Crossfire's back now, though.
Oh, God. Anyway, it's just like this is a Jon Stewart executive produced show, and yet it's doing that kind of thing unironically as well. It's like I think Larry Wilmore really thinks that he's trying to get to the core of an issue by having his guests answer with one of two options.
But it's a complicated world. It's a complicated world we live in.
So we have to simplify it for the masses.
No, I'm agreeing with you, Chad. I'm saying, like, I agree. This is why our national debate is so poisonous.
Yeah.
It's because we do distill it. We dumb it down to left, right, red, blue. There's no nuance. There's no complexity. There's no complex examination of the issues. It's just, you're wrong. You're a socialist. You're a pinko. You're a commie. Or you're a redneck racist.
It's like I wouldn't want this show to be another parody a la Colbert unless it was a very different angle, because Colbert did that to perfection. But it's just strange to me that it would basically embody everything that Jon Stewart rails against. in news
look,
media.
It's either that or an hour of Chris Hardwick. So
hashtag kill me.
You win the internet tonight, Chad.
Thank you.
So anyway, yeah. So let's pick apart this call a little bit more.
Right,
and,
right. Yeah, he also mentioned how like the trophies have become lackluster and how.
No, that Thomas, we agree with completely.
Hey.
Hold on, wait. Let me backtrack real quick, Thomas. Let me say this though about your main point. I said what I said. I don't really care that K. Rool or Dixie are in this game, and I'm not excited about it. That's not to say I don't think it would have been a good thing for the Donkey Kong series if they were in it. I think that it would have been a good thing if they were in it because it was still giving them a lot of exposure in a very popular game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's done Diddy a lot of good. He's considered a top tier character now. I don't know. I mean, some people hate Scarf Boy.
No,
hates
dude.
that,
Yeah,
but
Diddy's OP.
Diddy's OP.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Overpowered. It also means original poster on Reddit, but in fighting game context, it's overpowered.
Okay. Well, sorry. I don't speak Scarf, but poor Scarf Boy.
Yeah, it's just him and it's not Licky Tongue, Froakie. What the fuck is the name of that thing?
I don't.
The one from the game, the Smash Brothers, Greninja. It's him and Greninja. Whatever.
Right,
I couldn't get my
whatever.
fucking Pokemon straight, so I ruined my own joke.
Ultimately, it's still good he's in the game, and it's good that he stands out that he's overpowered because at least he's gaining notoriety and he's at least likely to be cut in the next game because he's a fixture now, you know. But it would be good for the series, and I'd like to see him in that because of it. And I'm sure I would derive the enjoyment from at least having them run around and K. Rool fighting Bowser. The dream matchups we talked about on when you were on. It's just hard to get excited about the game as is, and even the thought of K. Rool and Dixie doesn't excite me because we didn't get that. We're not going to get that as DLC, and honestly, I just don't care. I'm done with the game. So, my comments are, I realize I just made them more ambiguous, but it's just hard to be. I'm done with Smash Brothers at the moment, and
why did we even take this call?
Yeah. Anyway, but no, the trophies suck in this game.
I disagree. Okay, I agree with the point that he made, where it's more just kind of like not getting to the core of who they are, but just sort of a Wikipedia description of the character.
A Wikipedia description, and then it mostly relates to how they are in Smash Brothers or Smash Run or whatever.
Yeah.
It's less biographical than it is. It's like 2 lines of a biography, and then the rest.
But it is strange though, because some of them are pretty good. You know,
some of them are good. Some of them like the Candy Kong one
talks about how Funky and Donkey, have both caught her eye, kind of a thing, and
or the one that where Crystal knows exactly how to suck Fox's dick because she's a telepath.
Right. Well, she knows how to make him think that she's not sticking her finger up his ass while she's doing it, but she actually does, and it feels wonderful.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's tame compared to what's out there.
Yeah. The
internet is a ruinous place.
If we were to have the Crystal podcast guy on the show, which he rejected
he
our
would
attempts.
not come on our show. I don't know why. We wouldn't.
He was too busy coming on other things.
Oh, Jesus. That's why. What you just said.
Yeah,
completely lost my train of thought. It was the Rule 34 thing. What were we on?
Rule 33.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I'll say that for the most part though they are lackluster and they're written very oddly, and it feels like they were put through a translation filter and never like twice over. I feel like
I disagree with that again. I think that the ones that had some like first person injections I think were interesting. Some people faulted them, but I didn't mind those. They were like they were fun to read on occasion, but I think they were obviously written by 2 or 3 different people.
Okay.
In the treehouse. I think that
there was less consistency.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. The translations there were like 700 something trophies in this game. Some of them,
some
of them overlapped with 3DS, but then 3DS had its own share of exclusives, and so we're probably talking at around 1,000 trophies. So I'm sure it wasn't just a single person. That would be insane. But
I would have gladly done that.
I would have gladly done it too. But I'm just thinking that it was probably the work of several authors, which is why they were so inconsistent.
Yeah, I know we're probably going to angle to have that job in Lobo for any collectibles. Can we do it? Can we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll agree though. Wario is kind of he's not really the represented as Wario. Diddy, I'm fine with Diddy's portrayal in Smash Brothers. It's more an emphasis on his monkey side, but yeah, they do focus less on him as his own character with his own adventures and more as just he's Donkey's tag-along buddy.
Yeah.
Which, given that, Returns and Tropical Freeze are the main representation of the series at the moment, I can understand that. It would have been nice to have that nod to the rare years, but that's not what Nintendo does at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's strange that so the core of his question is regarding, whether or not, other sites, other forums tend to be focused more on like the mechanics of games, especially with Smash Brothers, than on the story, the characters, and that sort of thing. We seem to be flip-flopping. We can't figure out what the fuck we actually want from the game.
Well, no, I of course I'm going to focus more on story and character and whatnot. But if the game has to give me that luxury first.
Yes, that you put it better than I could have. Yeah.
If I find elements of the game unplayable, if I find it tedious and boring, eventually that's going to overwhelm the stuff I add to it, or the stuff I can have fun thinking about while playing it. If I'm not enjoying the experience of playing it, it's not like I'm sitting there playing Donkey Konga 2 still and thinking, oh, gee, God, I just love this Ferris wheel with, or this merry-go-round with Rambies on it. I wonder who constructed that. I'm not thinking that anymore. I'm thinking this game is a slog. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And Smash Brothers isn't quite that bad, but it still has that element of I'm not enjoying this, and it's kind of hard to fan wank anything or appreciate the novelty of having Diddy fight Pac-Man when Pac-Man's fire hydrant move is so cheap and crap that
I hate that thing. Yeah, they should put that on the back of the Smash Brothers box. Not quite as bad as Donkey Konga 2.
And I think that's the first positive thing we've said about Smash Brothers in the last 3 weeks, Chad.
Yeah, that's positive in a way.
Yeah, it's not negative, right?
It's definitely not negative.
All right.
So thank you for the call, Thomas Friedstedt.
And Thomas, when Smash 5 rolls around, we'll see what happens. If it's developed by if it's not developed by Sakurai, if there's new blood behind the franchise, I could see myself getting wrapped up in the hype again. I'm sorry to say, Chad, but that's going to be some time off. So.
Yeah,
we'll both be pushing 40 by then.
Yeah, I was just saying, I hope I'm not still doing this stuff when the next Smash. I just don't want to go through it again.
You hope you're not doing this stuff because you signed a contract, Chad.
Shit, they got me. No,
same day the Ape signed his. So.
At least another 10 years. Actually, 7 now. No, I just don't have any energy. I think that I will remember now what Smash Brothers was like, and I will just be completely disinterested in the cycle. I'll still buy and play the game and give it a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
but
I'm only going to dip my toes in it next time. It's got to win me back like Mario Kart 8 has kind of slightly won me back with Mario Kart.
It's the media circus that the presidential elections have turned into. It's like,
and it starts earlier each time.
Yeah. And I have had an ass full of it. I am disinterested. I'll play the game and hope that it's good, but beyond that, I really don't want to get involved in all this nonsense. It's just going to be worse because then everything will be, like holograms on the Oculus Rift. It'll be like the current season of Parks and Recreation. It'll be that much more in our face. And
that's right.
which I'm enjoying, by the way.
They really turned that. I think it really breathed new life into the show. It's The last 2 episodes in particular, and the Ron and Leslie episode were just fantastic.
Oh yes, I love the end when he finds the drone and it's like raining out. That was fucking great.
Yeah.
Anyway, Parks and Rec is a good show.
And it's maintained its quality. It's had its ups and downs, but it's finishing strong.
Yeah.
Unlike The Office.
Right. Yeah. That went out with a whimper. Ugh. Andy was the boss. Why would they make Andy the boss? The character.
Because just like Steve Carell had a breakout hit with The 40-Year-Old Virgin, he had a hit with The Hangover. Remember The Hangover?
I remember The Hangover Part 2. Is that the one you're talking about? It was based on this other movie. I think it's called The Hangover.
Oh, I think you're thinking of The Hangover Part 3.
Oh!
The greatest comedy trilogy of all time. The Wolfpack trilogy,
yes.
as nobody calls it.
I think Todd Phillips calls it the Wolfpack.
Well, yeah, they promoted it in like commercials.
Yeah,
and,
the conclusion to the epic trilogy.
The Wolfpack trilogy. I was like, no, it would be the Hangover trilogy because it's always kept the name The Hangover.
Yeah,
you can't the Wolfpack.
Yes,
what?
This is not Rocky where it used to be called First Blood. Like, don't you?
That's Rambo.
Thank you. Would it be great if Rocky was like just a murderous psychopath living in Philly?
I'm a little disappointed that back a few years ago when there was the fad of having Jason versus Freddy, Alien versus Predator. we never Rambo. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone could really like make use out of green screen and just go at it.
Yeah, Rocky versus Rambo versus Judge Dredd.
That would have been fun because it's like they could have had a boxing match. Rocky, in the ring, Rambo with his assault rifle.
He cuts his eye and he's like, he drew first blood. What is wrong with us as people?
It's the Winter Shitfucks.
It is the Winter Shitfucks.
And we literally just spent an entire episode talking about nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Well,
because that's the Winter Shitfucks. There's nothing to talk about. We got a new 3DS coming out. We've got Majora's Mask, a port of Majora's Mask.
Chris Seaver said some shit about a game that came out 14 years ago.
Yeah, we found out that the original ending of Bad Fur Day involved Conker getting shot to the moon. So, Donkey Kong Country Returns, just kind of tied it all back together.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like
there's nothing to talk. Let's just say like we were like, oh, what should we do this week? We had to do a Silverbacker episode, but Andy hasn't gotten back to us, so we
Zeppelin will be appearing very shortly.
Yeah, we got to actually we recorded it once and then we had technical issues. So
that was when my hard drive exploded.
That's right. It was going to be last season. So we got to get Zeppelin back on the show, but we're still waiting to hear from him. We've got to we're going to have this Alistair appear on the show maybe next week.
The aforementioned honorable.
Yeah, but it was just like, oh, what are we going to do this week? Well, it's the Winter Shitfucks. What do you expect? Like it really is like the worst time of year to have a video game podcast. It's just
unless it's like the Majora's Mask Termina Foundation podcast. Like there's
Zelda fans will have. It's like, oh, you remember we like this game? Yeah, we played it. Let's talk about it again. It's going to be in 3D, and they're going to make it easier.
I'm still super excited.
Oh, and you have every right to be. I'm not throwing shade your way.
But yeah, they are making it easier. But I'm still really fucking excited, man. I can't wait for that game. And it's on Cobcock Day. It's a Cobcock miracle.
Now that we can talk about in a couple of weeks, Cobcock Day.
That's right. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon, just like Father Cobcock.
He's coming to get you. He's going to rape you if you eat meat on Cobcock Eve.
But we're not making a rape reference. This is just the tradition of Cobcock Day.
It's what he does. He's an evil chicken man from another dimension.
And he's from this Gerald Featherpennings. Read the backstory to Cobcock Day.
Look, I was going off the Cobcock Carol's description of Father Cobcock.
Okay, well,
he's a filthy chicken man from another dimension.
Okay, I'm just saying, they changed some of the actual lore. It's Macy's and whatnot get their hands on it.
They make it more commercial.
They do.
Yeah, that's what they do. They know that a trans-dimensional spirit of Cobcock Day is going to really move those ornaments.
It's like that awful Dudley Moore Santa Claus movie. John Lithgow was in it. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but
I don't. I really don't.
No, they
Arthur. What are you talking about?
Arthur 2, Back in the Habit. They set out to explain the origins of Santa Claus for kids, but they completely ignored that Santa Claus is based on a man named Saint Nicholas. And so they just invented some bullshit story, and I'm just like, no, start with the actual myth of Santa Claus.
My favorite Santa origin story was told in Gremlins.
That was dark.
That was really dark. That's why I love that when people talk about their favorite holiday or Christmas movies, Die Hard and Gremlins are both in the conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Die Hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not Christmas without Reginald Bell Johnson.
Yeah, hell no. In fact, I think every Christmas the tradition should be watch Die Hard and then every Christmas special from Family Matters.
Including the first one where Urkel believes in Santa Claus and everybody's giving him shit, but then little Richie gets the toy he really wanted, but nobody got it for him. and then Urkel looks up and he says, "Thanks, Santa."
Is that how they ended it?
And then they did this faux video Christmas card. This is from our family to yours.
Wait, Urkel's not a part of their family?
Yeah, but his parents abandoned him for Christmas. They went on some sort of cruise or something.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm
surprised they didn't just abandon him as an infant if they really hate him so much.
Yeah, well, it was really weird because Urkel didn't start out their neighbor. He was just some weird neighborhood kid, but when he
was
so
one
popular,
of Laura's classmaurkels.
Yeah, they retconned it so he always lived next door to them.
Yeah.
At least have an episode where he moves in next door and everybody's freaking out. It's oh no, Urkel's moving next door. This is bad.
Did you finally see that Key and Peele sketch where
I did.
The Reginald Vell Johnson one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Fantastic. It was really good.
Went a little most sketch comedy. It went a little long.
Maybe by 20 seconds. It was pretty snappy. It wasn't a 5-minute SNL showstopper,
Or it wasn't an episode of the Kongversation,
right?
Where we have nothing to talk about because it's the Winter Shitfucks.
So we decide to talk about Key and Peele in the hour and 48-minute mark,
and Saint Elsewhere, and
for
and
26
Taxi,
minutes.
Three's Company, Cheers.
That's it. It's just going to turn into theme songs at this point. K9. Wait. K9. That's the next lyric in the song.
How does the rest of it go?
K9. Yeah. K9.
This has been a File 2 production.
Qué rico.